Hello, this is Dennis from ComCycle USA. We're continuing with our electric bike conversion project. We've installed the electric hub motor on the bike. Now it's time to install the throttle. You have a lot of options installing the throttle. Let's have a look at them. Let's start by having a look at some of the different styles of shifters that are available that you may have on your bike. This is a trigger shifter made by SRAM. We like this. It works well with many e-bike throttles. When it's on the bike, it works this way. You shift one way with the thumb. You also shift the other way with the thumb. This leaves a lot of room for a throttle. We'll see more about that when it gets installed. This style is called grip shift, and you shift by simply twisting what becomes part of the grip on the bike. This is an integrated shifter brake lever. You shift by operating the levers with your thumb and index finger. And of course the brake lever is built right in here. There are many styles of each of these kinds of shifters, and there are other shifters on the market. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list. Hopefully these will be close enough to something that you have or are considering that you will be able to use this information to help you figure out how to set up your bike. These are the different styles of e-bike throttles we carry and that you might find for your project. The twist throttle works pretty much the way it sounds. And the thumb throttle is pretty intuitive. We simply use our thumb. There are two different styles. This model here has a set of LEDs to indicate the battery charge level. By the time they indicate the battery is low, you have very little power left on the battery, and it takes up additional room on the handlebar to accommodate that. For that reason, there are also throttles available that do not have any LED indicators on them. We sell a product called the Cycle Analyst that gives you much better information about the state of the battery, as well as a lot of other information about what's going on with the electric motor system on the bike. So let's try to put some of these on the bike and see how they work together. As you can see, I have removed the grip, shift lever, and brake lever from one side of the handlebar. You can still see what they look like on the other half of the handlebar. Let's start with a combination that works together well. With thumb throttle, we'll install the brake next, and then the grip shift. When installed this way, you're able to operate the thumb throttle, the brake lever, and the shifter without interfering with each other and keeping everything fairly close. The reason it's nice to keep things close is for the sake of reach. If you have to slide things apart so they don't interfere with each other, you find you're going to have to be reaching for the throttle, you're going to have to be reaching for the brake lever, and depending on the kind of shifter you have, you may be having to reach for the shifter as well. Here we have a trigger shifter from SRAM. It works with the thumb style. Let's start with the half twist with no LED. You see there's room for shifting, and of course the throttle is going just fine right here, and we can reach the brake lever. The thumb throttle with LED can work if it's kept a little ways away from the shifter so that there's room to shift. We have a similar situation with the half twist in this combination. If we hold it away from the shifter a little bit, we can make room for the shifter to operate, and we can also reach the brake lever and work the throttle, but again we're spread apart a little bit and we may increase our reach to the shifters or the brake lever. Interestingly, the smallest shifters seem to have the most interference problems. If I slide it in all the way, it interferes completely with the shifters. I have to slide it out quite a ways to be able to clear the shift levers. The integrated style shifter, brake lever, and Shimano rapid fire style shifters usually pose the biggest problem for interfering with e-bike throttle. In order to clear the e-bike throttle, the throttle has to be moved a long ways away from the shifter. All of the other e-bike throttles set up about the same with the integrated shifter brake lever. However, because the integrated shifter brake lever is relatively compact, it does still work for some people with large hands or who are able to get a larger reach in order to operate the controls of the bike. The handlebar and throttle setup I'm going to be using for the project is this one. Trigger shifter, twist throttle with no LED. Hopefully that will help you get started with the many options that you have installing a throttle on your electric bike project. We'll continue in our next video with the installation of the battery.